Went to bed last night and everything was cool and fine. Bit of a surprise this morning. Snow! Snow everywhere. Sarajevo is the bustling little capital of Bosnia and Hercegovina, which over 250,000 people call home. It has a lively market culture where you can buy anything from fruit to chainsaws to smashed up electronics. We were lucky enough to be there for the weekly flea market, which certainly provided a very wide and random selection of goods. Personal hygiene, personal defence. $100! I wonder how much $100 costs. All your Bosnian classics. The dude. No idea who any of these people are. Moni seems to be popular. She is again. Someone's family photos. You want to buy someone's random family photos of them at a meal?
Sorry? No.
It's just random family photos.
Probably the politician.
I don't know.
Oh, I used to have the World Cup for Alphabet.
What that is? International Youth Hostel Federation. Some kind of passport or something.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Only picture.
Wow. Check it out, from like the Second World War. It's the Jewish plus.
Don't film.
Okay. I'm a firm believer that if you don't want it filmed, then you shouldn't be selling it. Anyway, so here instead is an old lady selling cheese. She had no problem with me filming. Soon though, it was time to move on to more touristy areas. In the bazaar area of Bashkirtsia, there are many alleys filled with the usual tourist shops selling the usual mass-produced items. But look hard enough and you can still find original makers of copper pieces, such as brothers Kenan and Adnan, who take the time to explain their process to visitors to their shop.
I using copper. I taking some big part copper, cutting in the smaller part, like that, and when making design, using that kind tools here, and in the combination tools making different leaf, different flowers, different ornament. I will start with that one house circle. You see, with these dots it's more visible. When it's finished complete, when it's over, I will take a rubber hammer, making flat, the putting small hole, the putting tassel, that will be a bookmark. Also, I can making something different, that's my tools. And if I use that or that, do you know what will be now? Yes, that's same way work, two totally different product, this or this. For me, for business, for selling, this is more better. That's just for lady. This is for lady, for men, for old, for young, for everybody. In the Christmas period, lots of people use that like Christmas ornament, Christmas tree decoration. Same way work, three different way for selling. That's real showcase, leftovers of the war. You see, This is Canon 76mm, and after war, people is collected this stuff, different caliber, on the hills around town, and the material is brass, very expensive, and people is collected that and selling like material, selling in some factory is taking that, melted that, making the stuff like handle for doors, candle, brass stuff. We are taking that, making design, we do this design, also using same kind tools. This is smaller one, but printed work is same. This white inside, it is lead. I will fill lead inside. I need lead because if I don't have lead inside, if I do, yes, lead keep me shape. If I heat without lead, no problem, lead keep form. If I heat without lead, I will bending that. When it's finished complete, I will with fire melted lead out, for lead is low temperature of the brass, and when melted this one, in the same time fill next one. And I will do this cleaning, polish finally, and this will be that when it's finished complete. And this is bigger one, you see, when it's finished complete, will be like that. And this now we use like vase for flowers. Before it's killing, now is vase. Something nice is making something bad, something that is taking life. Now you will do putting water, putting flower, now give new life. And I really like show people that transformations, negative into positive. Also something like that you can see anywhere. You have also place with war, you don't tell people we do that. That's part of our history, something really unique, really authentic for us.
Unfortunately, many people still live in the shadow of the War for Independence, as the city had the longest siege in modern history from April 1992 to February 1996, which was a very dark time for the residents. However, this huge gold can, called the Canned Beef Monument, is a somewhat tongue-in-cheek representation of the less than stellar internationally provided humanitarian aid from that time. Actually, a lot of the supplies for the city were smuggled in by local resistance fighters through the Tunnel of Hope, which was next to the UN-controlled airport. Some of the other scars of war are still visible today, with bullet-marked buildings, or the red cement marks called a Sarajevo rose, which are the filled-in remnants of mortar shell explosions. Here it is, the spot at which Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, the result of which would eventually lead to the start of the First World War. These little tabs here represent the wheels of the car, and just here is where Gavrilo Princip stood and fired his gun. Totally by coincidence that he was just having a coffee here, and then Franz Ferdinand came by, pulled out his gun and shot him once. Fired 3 shots, first one missed, second one hit Sophia, his wife, and the third one hit Franz Ferdinand, sadly fatally. There was a huge influx of people and tourists in the 1980s, partly helped by the Winter Olympics in 1984, and it marked a prosperous period of growth, and for that Sarajevo needed new housing. We decided to check out an award-winning building in one of the outer districts. We're in the Siglan district in Sarajevo. Got a big residential district. Not much to speak of really, but there's these really cool stairs that have been painted. But it's added a bit of colour to the otherwise grimness around. Not this particularly grim. Figure of speech and all that. These flats were built in 1984 and actually had to open a brick factory because there were so many bricks needed. Designed by a German. And it was meant to hold about 5,000 people in them. Not too bad for 80s engineering. They have a nice staircase here, or they even have their own little elevator going up as well. So there's also this art here, which is meant to be a traditional Bosnian rug, which is actually made of 25,000 recycled bottle caps. It was an eco project by the local schools with over 540 children involved. Pretty cool if you ask me. Get up close, you see all the names. Sky Cola, Cocta, Coke, obviously. Boney. So many little bottle caps, so many different names. Hey, at least it's been recycled into something nice, rather than just going into a landfill. Up in the mountains above Sarajevo, still a relic of the 1984 Olympics here, an abandoned bobsleigh track. Let's go investigate. We're on. I guess this section on the left here is where you started the test. Go halfway down, get your practice in. Pretty sweet view of Sarajevo down here. Cable car and the whole town laid out in front of us in the valley. Very pretty.
People which coming first time is little skeptic, little afraid. People still connect to Bosnia with war. For us it's very important. When you come, when you see, you will back home, tell your friends, tell your family. Maybe next year coming your friends, your family, you again. Every year is better, better, better.